This past week, Microsoft introduced their subscription-based model for playing and basically renting video games called Xbox Gamepass, something that a lot of people are calling a Netflix version for video games, which there have been other services kind of like this, like EA Origin, but definitely their biggest competition right now is Sony with PlayStation Now. So let's compare the differences between them. First off, let's take a look at one of the most obvious and simplest points of comparison: pricing. Now, the Xbox Game Pass is going to cost you $9.99 a month, which I think is just the right price point for something like this, because with any kind of subscription month-to-month model, I think a lot of people start to get a little more questionable with it when you're hitting that $15 to $20 price point, which is exactly the problem that PlayStation Now has. They're asking for a full $20 a month, though you can spend a little less if you buy months in bulk. For instance, it's $45 for 3 months, or for a full year you can spend $100, which does bring the actual total cost down to being about the same as Xbox Game Pass, but you're paying it all up front for months that you might actually not even use. So Xbox Game Pass definitely has the advantage there. Of course, how much you spend is important, but what's even more important is the actual value you're getting for your dollar, and that's where things get a little more interesting. See, with PlayStation Now, currently the catalog reaches over 400 PS3 games, and Sony has also said that sometime this year, they'll start adding PS4 games as well. And for the most part, this is a catalog that's been very slowly growing over time, and they haven't really been removing games at all. There have been some, but that's more the exception than the rule, so it's a pretty large library. Xbox Game Pass, on the other hand, currently offers 112 games, and they've specifically said this is going to be a rotating model, kind of like with Netflix with movies. So every month you're going to see some games leave, some games get added, and it's not going to be necessarily as large of a library. So during any given month, PlayStation is going to give you the larger library of games to choose from, but in the long run, as you're playing over several months, Xbox Game Pass might just pass that up over time. Now, what's also really interesting about this is that while you can play these games while you're a member of this service, Xbox Game Pass also offers the additional benefit of being able to buy games at a 20% discount, as well as a 10% discount on any DLC for these games. So if there's something that you really like, let's say you really got into Halo 5, you never bought it before, you're playing it a bunch, and now it's leaving the catalog, you can buy it at a discount. Now, currently this discount only applies to Xbox One games and not Xbox 360, but for the most part, a lot of those older titles are going to be cheaper anyways, so the discount wouldn't be as significant. Now, there is one other interesting difference between these two services, and honestly, I think this is the most important difference, and that's how you play these games. See, with PlayStation Now, everything is handled via streaming. You're not actually installing anything on your hard drive, you're not even keeping any save progress on your hard drive, it's all handled on a remote Sony server. And the big problem with this is if you have terrible internet, that's going to heavily and negatively impact your ability to play these games, thus making PlayStation Now more or less completely useless to you. On the other hand, with Xbox Game Pass, everything is handled much more like a traditional digitally purchased game, where everything is going to still be stored on your hard drive. Your game info is being installed there, your save data is there. It's a much more seamless, normal experience that is way better than streaming games. It's just going to require that you still be connected to the internet, so it can make sure you're still a Game Pass member, and make sure the game is still part of the catalog. Which, like I said earlier, if the game is leaving the catalog anytime soon, it's going to warn you, and you can purchase it at a discount if you want. Now, all of this in concept sounds really, really great. I mean, if you're just looking at how Xbox Game Pass is as a service compared to PlayStation Now, it completely blows PlayStation out of the water. But things get a little different when you actually compare them based on what games are on them right now. See, like I said earlier, PlayStation Now has over 400 games, but what's more important is a lot of those are big hit games from the PS3, stuff like the Infamous series or Red Dead Redemption, so on and so forth. While Xbox Game Pass right now is mostly 360 stuff, and specifically stuff from the 360 arcade, which is really cool if you want to re-experience some very simple games like Double Dragon, the D&D beat-em-up games, Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur 2. Great, but if you're looking for big hit titles, right now it's basically Halo 5 and all 3 BioShock games, and that's it. Putting this all into consideration, honestly, right now, if we're just looking at this month alone, even though it's twice the price and has all of its problems, PlayStation Now kind of feels like the better value to me. I mean, yeah, you're paying $20, but you're getting a whole lot more games you could marathon back to back, whereas with Xbox One Game Pass, you could just buy Halo 5 and call it a day.